Buonasera, I miei amici. Trying. Welcome to Milan on day 5 for me, which is the last day of Milan, the last time I'm going to check out this view, which is unfortunate because this has got to be one of the best well-lit cathedrals there ever was, right? Like they've got lights on there. It's like they built it to have it up against lights like that. It just looks so great at night. Anyway, so I tried to make the most of my last day. I went up to the, this is gonna be a tough one, Sforzesco castle. Basically, it's on the north side of the historical center, and it's a huge complex, and it houses the Pieta of Michelangelo, which was the last thing he was working on before he died. And it was really cool to see that. I saw it's kind of an unfinished work, and it's a little rough at this point, but it's still like the novelty of seeing a Michelangelo. I saw a copy of it last year in Florence when they did 3 of the Pietas, and it was really cool. It was nice to see the original, and that whole castle complex is really cool too. There's a lot of different things to see. Like it's kind of a little grab bag of things, right? Like it's historic. It's a castle, right? So it's filled, and it teaches you about a lot of the history of Milan itself, because that was the reigning castle for a long time. But like I said, there's also a lot of great works in there by some pretty famous artists. In particular, Leonardo. Leonardo is famous in Milan because he after being sent away from Florence, he was looking for ways he could contribute, and he really wanted to build like army stuff, but they wound up like really using him as both an architect and an inventor, but also as a painter, and they had him paint this one room. It's unfortunate it was under construction, so I couldn't see it exactly, but still, again, it's kind of cool to see that, right? But there's some other kind of random things in there as well. Like there's a museum of furniture, and like throughout, at least the last like 500-600 years anyway, and a museum of musical instruments, and that was kind of funky, because there was a lot of different classical musical instruments. It also houses like a bunch of like pre-Renaissance artwork, which is also really interesting to see. Now, of course, it was a fort. It was built by a wealthy family. It actually has a moat. It's not filled with water anymore, but what they do is it's a cat sanctuary now, which is interesting. And more interesting is I keep finding all of these cat sanctuaries. And the Europeans seem to do well with that. They find these old spaces and just let the cats take over. I think it's great. But yeah, this castle, it was conquered by the Sforza family. But then, the French, the Spanish, the Austrians, they all had their turns. And it's really cool to just wander around through the place, go up some strange steps and all that, and some unusual doors, which is kind of interesting too. And it was funny because as I'm wandering through this place, I'm supposed to be looking at the artwork, but I'm so fascinated by the roof and the doors and everything. And it was weird. Like the doors are weird, right? It almost seems like they're exhibits themselves, so you don't want to like go through them. And I kept looking at the staff, like, is it okay? Like, is that right? To the point where I think I got used to all the weird doors. And when I went to see one of the exhibits, the Pieta, the Michelangelo, and I actually attempted to leave through the emergency exit, and I'm so thankful that the alarms didn't go off, But I'm just like pushing on this door, and I'm like, oh, this is weird. It's not opening. And this lady comes out of nowhere and goes, no, no, no. And I was so embarrassed. I wanted to run out of there, but you know, I managed to close them properly, and she was, I guess, okay once that was all done and everything. But needless to say, my visit there was over. But further to that, they have this big park that you can go through, and Sempione Park, I think it's called. But at the end, there's the Arco della Pace, the Peace Arc, which is ironically named for a couple of reasons. But it was originally designed or commissioned as a celebration of when Milan was the capital of Rome, of the Roman Empire. And it was started by Napoleon when he took over Milan. But they started building it, and of course, you know, things went back and forth. That's a lot of history to talk about. But it was the Austrians who then took over the place after they had defeated, the League defeated Napoleon and gave land back and everything. And then the Austrians finished it. It was like, okay, we'll finish, no problem. Weird. But yeah, that was kind of my day. Got a little bit more comfortable with the subway, whipping back and forth. This place is too big. It's like I can't see everything. And I love the fact that there's a subway and that it's easy to use. But 5 days is not enough to see everything. It's certainly not. So I am moving on tomorrow. I got to get up early and head to the train station. Any guesses as to where I'm going? I'm really bad at this because I keep asking you guys to guess and I don't give you any hints. So I will say that I'm continuing to move eastward. Not exactly east, but in that general direction. It's a place that I've been before, but only for 2 days. I don't know how much more I can say, but there won't be any snow. And in fact, it should be getting warmer. Is that enough of a hint? But I would imagine there would still be pastries. But I'm sure there's pastries there. I'm going to be well fed no matter where I go. And yeah, my apologies. I was going to do a fun little pastry of the day, but just the way things have worked out this evening, especially me trying to find food, I fed myself, don't worry. But I couldn't do it. So maybe I'll try to do that when I get to my next place, if they have something similar. But you know, either way, I'll find some pastry and some other great food. So wish me luck. I'm traveling, and I should be. Another hint maybe is that it takes maybe about 3 or 4 hours total, but I'm taking kind of a break in the middle. If you'd like to guess where that is, I've also been there before. But yeah, it should be exciting. So subscribe, definitely subscribe so you get to see the video tomorrow and all the other ones. And keep sending me likes, keep sending me comments. I love that stuff, really appreciate it. And yeah, I will see you at my next stop. Buonanotte. Ciao. Good night, everyone.